Hi guys, I'm Dylan Whittier and we're in the Utah Airguns custom shop. We're going to show you how to install an NSA Pin Probe and an FX Impact. So you're going to need a few tools and materials for this install. We got a torch, some red Loctite, some blue Loctite, and you will need a 7/32 Allen wrench and a 3/16 Allen wrench. You'll need the NSA Pin Probe, the housing, and the grub screws, and a 2.5mm T-handle. So we're gonna start by taking off the cheek piece here. Next thing I do is take off the butt piece. There is a little screw on the right side of the gun. Looks like this. Pull your butt pad off. The housing, the probe housing, is held by an Allen screw that fits through the top of the backbone, and that's held in with Loctite, so that's why we need the torch. That's probably good. Can't be tight if it's liquid. Be careful, that screw might be hot. After you've heated it up and taken that screw out, it should just fall right out. If not, you'll need to just stick a little Allen key in there and give it a jiggle. Remove the housing and the stock probe. Get some vice grips, apply a little heat because it's going to be tight, and just take it out. Do not lose that little pin. What you'll do with the pin now is put a little Loctite, red Loctite for heat, blue Loctite for torque. And you'll take your NSA housing, so put a little dab, and you will stick that back in there. Press that thing in. After that, we'll get our pin probe itself. And again, you want to make sure the square end of your housing is faced towards the front of the gun. I start by putting the probe in through the back of the housing and give it maybe a few turns, not a lot, just to hold it in place so I can get some blue Loctite on the threads there. Put a little drop there. Then you'll take your 3/16. Put that in there, just so it's barely below flush with the housing. You'll then pull your cocking arm all the way back so the gun is cocked. Obviously make sure there's no magazine in there and that your gun is empty before doing any of this. We always want to work on a safe gun. So a trick I have is I'll put my 3/16 into the back of the pin probe. There is a slot for it, and I use this basically to hold it because my fingers aren't long enough to fit in the rear of the gun like that. Cock the gun so the holster comes all the way back towards you. And you want to just push up so that pin goes back into the cocking assembly. You should see two small holes for that little nipple to go inside. So you'll press it up as tight as you can and then push the Allen wrench forward until you see that same hole through the top of the backbone. That will allow you to put the screw in to tighten the housing back to the cocking assembly. One thing you'll have to do is not use the OEM screw that we pulled out. So the NSA screw that holds the housing into the cocking assembly is shorter, and that's the one you need to use. So I will use some red Loctite and put a little dab into the top of there. Again, just a tiny drop, don't go crazy. Tighten that up. Now we need to check the timing of the probe. So if we're all the way cocked back, the tip of that probe should stick, well, it really shouldn't stick past these butt plates here. I mean, if it's a millimeter, you're probably fine, but ideally you want to be set back below it. So we'll take the 3/16, hold the gun in the cock position, and as you can see, it's set now. There is a grub screw that will hold the pin probe in its perfect spot. It's basically a jam nut, and this will add pressure to the back of the probe so that way it can't come loose. Put a little bit of blue Loctite on that. Stick your 7/32 there. And then you just jam that in the rear there. And don't go super crazy with it because you might push your probe forward. But you'll feel it bind against each other, and that's how you know you've got it snug. Wait for it to dry a little bit, and then we'll put the gun back together. And now you've installed an NSA pin probe and housing. As you can see, that was the NSA pin probe install. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below the video, and if you'd like to see more videos like this, you can do the same.